Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show. I'm your host, Clint Fuquay, the health engineer, and I've got Katrina Gallagher on with me today with Triada Chiropractic. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So, for everybody out there, the big story right now is moms and babies, and healthy moms and healthy babies. Because, well, there's a lot of stuff going on in DC. We're not going to talk about it today. We're actually going to talk about the other side of that, which is moms, future moms, planning on being moms, dads planning on being dads. We're going to talk to you too. How to do that the best way. And of course, you know, I love chiropractic because I've been getting worked on since I was like little bitty. So, yeah, not as little bitty as you work on.
Hours old.
So, let's give everybody a little background on you, on Triada, how you came up with your concept, why you wanted to work with moms and babies specifically in this, because that's a very, very niche area for chiropractic, because most everybody else is like, yeah, come in, we'll get you crack. Push you back out the door, right? And yours is definitely not that.
Nope, we are not high volume. We know our people, which makes it so fun because we're very community-based. I just love it when I walk around the corner and I see moms exchanging numbers and setting up play dates, because that's what it's about, or to do life together. And we're not doing any of this alone. So to share about how we opened Triada, we used to live in Singapore, actually. And over there, I had a busy practice. It was a high volume practice. I enjoyed what I was doing. I was helping people, but the main driver for people coming in was more symptom based. It was, they had the back pain, they had the headaches. It was more traditional chiropractic that you think about. But I am really big into wellness and just living to my potential. And I'd like to share that with others. So through a lot of talks, I gave corporate talks at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I go to different businesses, and just educate people about their bodies and how they work and how to take care of them. And it started changing people's why. They weren't just coming in for that back pain and headache anymore, but it was that they were recognizing that their digestion was off, or that they were getting sick more often, or they had allergies, or what could they do about their diabetes. It started becoming a more holistic type of approach. But most of the people coming to my practice were men and women in the business sector. With them learning about their own bodies, they started thinking about their own kiddos. Mm-hmm. Maybe my kid can come in. Maybe my kid could sleep better, or maybe they're having troubles with bedwetting. Bit by bit, I started seeing more and more kids. That wasn't my intention initially, but I had fun seeing them. And I had a friend, she's Singaporean, who suggested that I open a practice for women and children, because she helped women. She's a pelvic floor therapist. She's on a PT, but more on fitness, because she had twins unexpectedly. She and her husband were not even planning on getting pregnant, and they got blessed with two beautiful babies.
We have one. Oh, we have two. What do we got with these? Yeah.
So what her body went through, but also the mental load of like a just shifting of, okay, now it's not just about me anymore. It's about these two growing babies in my belly. And she encouraged me to open a practice for women and children. And it sounded good, but being in another country and working under Singaporean, I didn't have that leeway just to call the shots of the direction of the practice. So we made a game plan to open our own practice in Singapore. For whatever reason, we weren't having no's, but we weren't really having yeses either. It just seemed hurdle after hurdle. We needed more paperwork or more meetings. And we were seeing our friends who had only been there for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, getting the green light to open their practices. But we weren't. And so we prayed on it, and we were recognizing that God was actually not wanting us to open this practice in Singapore, but somewhere else. But where? So we were looking, do we go to Costa Rica? Because that sounded great. Do we go to Jamaica? That was even a consideration, like sweet like island life. Not that you could tell from my fair skin, but I do enjoy the sunshine. And nothing ever really seemed to be the right direction. But we started meeting a lot of people either from Texas, or they were moving from Texas, or their sister was living in Texas. This Texas kept popping up. And we took it, and maybe they were supposed to do that. And we prayed, and the doors started opening, and we showed up. We showed up almost 7 years ago without knowing anyone, without knowing that we knew anyone here. And we made it happen. So triada, it actually means Trinity in Greek. So we talk about faith, food, function. Number one, who are you putting your faith in? Is it the doctor who said that you need to have the surgery? Is it the doctor who said that you'll never have kids? Is it the doctor, is it the doctor, or are you trusting your body? Even more importantly, your creator, who knew exactly what he was doing when he knit you together, right? There's a reason why our bodies are a certain way, and not every person's body is the same, but there's a purpose behind all of that. So faith.
Yeah, there's a lot of ownership too of if you own your body and you own your health, you're going to take care of it instead of like, well, my doctor tells me this person tells me this, and it's just you like shove it back on them. Once you take that ownership, it gets a lot more real quick.
Yeah, and recognizing something that's been cool the last, I would say, like 4 or 5 years for me that has really shifted is that I really view my body or our bodies as a home, right? We want to take care of our house, but we are not our bodies. So if we're going through something, health struggle, or even if it's a mental struggle, like we are not those things. We are not our diagnoses. We are above that. It could be a symptom of something we're going through, but we are not defined by that.
Yep.
The next is the food part. And so I yes, I'm a chiropractor, but I also have my master's in clinical nutrition. So but with a functional spin. So I think food, what we put in our bodies is very important. What we put on our bodies is very important. What we breathe in, our air quality is very important. But also the food that we're feeding our minds, right? Mm-hmm. The truths that we're teaching ourselves. And then the third of that is the function. So how's it all coming together to work as a whole? So faith, food, function. So that's how Triada was born, if you will. The idea stemmed from that. So we came here, did it, and it's been awesome. And just really finding that like-minded professionals like you, Clint, that we can walk together, not only supporting our missions, but then serving those people in our community that much better because we're aligned. Yeah. We agree and have a common mindset with that.
And so for everybody out there, we actually met through Functional Health Network, which is a huge network. And this is not quite nationwide, but getting close to nationwide for multiple different people in different disciplines. It starts with naturopaths and works its way down to everybody, down to your lowly trainers that just work people out and go, give me one more. I do more than that. But then, of course, chiropractic. And one reason why I wanted to talk to you specifically is because of the health of the mom and the baby. Like, it's a huge topic right now. Big topic. So I want you to give everybody out there just a little rundown on, for anybody that is looking at getting pregnant anytime soon, right? Like they're planning on it. It's not a oopsie. We are here, or whenever that happens to, like what do people need to start looking at and being aware of before, I'm talking like a year out, for some planning, up to pregnant, what do we do now? How do we take care of ourselves better, right? Especially from chiropractic angle and everything that you do in here, because you got some really cool toys. She's got tools, really cool toys, awesome toys, right? Outside of just the cool beds, really cool toys. And then after that, okay, we're here, we had the baby. Now what do we do?
Loaded question.
I know. We got time. We got tons of time on the clock.
Okay, we'll start with what to do when you're thinking about getting pregnant. Man, we all should be striving to do the best we can for our health, but let's admit it, a lot of times people aren't willing to change their habits, their lifestyle, until they have to. So a lot of times people, and I think we've been conditioned by society or by our medical approach of like, well, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? If it's fine, well, yeah, what's fine, right? Things are probably done in our childhood that we wouldn't really do with our kids now, like how
they were smoking and drinking in our childhood, okay?
Or car seats, like the change of car seats. Just because it was fine doesn't mean it was necessarily ideal, the best way. We've learned how to be better.
Yeah.
But if we're thinking about getting pregnant, man, like a big part of that is the mental preparation. It's easy to eat better. Well, I guess it's not really easy to eat better. No one really wants to eat better. They might do it because they have to, right? Like, I need to check these
When you're trying to grow a baby, it gets easier to do it because you're not eating for you anymore.
Yeah, because your motivation is different.
Yeah.
But then
the one big reason why I wanted to ask the prep part of this is because fertility rates are at kind of an all-time low right now because of a lot of issues. A lot of it's food-based people. Okay. We got environmental toxins, stuff like that. So it's the preparation piece of this that will help out with getting things to go without having to go the IVF route and everything else everybody's having to do, which there's some cool stuff happening in DC around that. But before you put that big expense, okay, for doing that stuff.
So nutrition, baseline of you need the building blocks, right? For your own health to repair and restore, but to build a growing baby, right? You need to have those building blocks. So proper nutrition, to be aware of what you're putting into your body, both by eating, but also shampoo, lotions, sunscreens, your skin. It's a barrier, but it also absorbs. So being very mindful of the detergents that you use, the cleaning materials that are used in the house. Like it's a lot and it can be overwhelming, but I get this question a lot because people want to do better, but they don't know where to start. So, I don't know if now's an okay time to mention about my new baby, my project.
Yeah, she's birthed something.
Yes, I birthed 2 human babies, but my newest baby is an online program for families, for couples that are looking to get pregnant. And it's not too soon, just like it's not too late to get started, but it is a 30 lesson course. They're video lessons with me, with the notes, because some people like to learn by taking notes. So we have the notes you can print off. Every lesson, there's a call to action or a homework, if you will, of something to do. And we actually start, module number 1 is setting expectations. Because a lot of times we hope that conception is going to happen easier than it does. And what if loss happens? What if it takes longer than you expect? Do you have the pieces in play that if that was to happen, that you're ready? Mentally, socially, do you have that support system set up? Have you talked with your partner, your spouse, about what that looks like for each other, how you need to be supported? And you may not know that yet, but it's starting to think about it, because things do happen. We don't want to think about it, but they do happen. But then we move into understanding hormones on the male and female side. What can you eat? What do you need to avoid to allow your endocrine system to work optimally so that we don't have disruption to those hormones? Xenobiotics. If you guys don't know that word, it's going to be a fun one.
Look that one up.
Yeah, Xenobiotics, xenobiotics. It's really the stuff that we're exposed to that just shakes up what should be happening naturally.
Yeah. So all the plastics, you've probably heard of xenoestrogens, fake estrogens, toxic exposure from plastic, microplastics, okay? All the microplastic stuff that you're hearing about in the news, which you're hearing a lot about that. It's been going on for a long time. But xenoestrogens are kind of the fake metabolite estrogens put off by plastic bottles in your system when you're taking in tons and tons of it, in which they're finding microplastics in people's brains, everything else. But that disrupts your hormonal system, and so getting that out is
testes. It's a big one. Microplastics are building up big time in testes. A lot of guys, yes, They think, oh, like a woman is born with her egg, she has them for life. I keep making my sperm year round, but lifelong. So I think men have been kind of tricked into thinking that they are more resilient, but not if the tissue that's making the sperm is damaged. Man,
if the stuff going into your factory is not high quality, you're going to have really low quality stuff coming out of your factory, okay, guys?
Yeah. And it's not even just like the making the baby part, it's the developing the baby and then the life start for that child.
Yeah.
So if we can get parents, even before conception, bit by bit by bit, having that transformation to a lifestyle that is overall just better and healthier for them, imagine how much easier it's going to be once that baby comes along to just keep on with that trajectory, right? They don't have to try to make better changes. Oh, because now the baby's here. They already did that. It's already been set in place. And then think about the life the baby's going to have, because that has just been the norm for that baby since the moment they were born, that they had a good influence from their parents before they were born. It was just, we can really make changes here for the future generations to come. It's not just about getting pregnant. It's really about setting your baby up for a lifelong.
And guys, just a word on the whole baby factory thing that we produce. The health of your child, okay, and this is research-based study, the health of your child is based on the health of your sperm. That's right. And how much genetic trash you have in your DNA at the time of conception. So, guys, hate to say it, but if something goes wrong, it's probably your fault.
And epigenetics, it's real, which means like we may have received a set of genes, the genome from our parents, but our lifestyle choices can turn on and off genes. So you could have twins, think that they're genetically identical, but they present and they would actually cope with stresses and health battles differently because of the choices they've made in their lifestyle.
Yeah. Man, the twin stays, if you look at like the twin stays where they'll take a pair of twins, and it's like, okay, we're going to have one
identical twins.
Identical, okay. You got one that eats one certain diet, they put another one on another certain type of diet, and they look at how they change, and they go from being identical to not quite identical anymore until they come back to doing what the other one does. And so that tells you how much impact epigenetics, which is all the other stuff, what you eat, what you drink, what you watch, sleep quality, everything else, how much of an impact that has. Because if you take these two, they're identical, and they do this because of changes in what they're eating and drinking, imagine the difference that's happening just in your life.
Yeah. And we have tests now, like as technology has advanced, there's more and more lab testing that we can do to look at someone's genetic predisposition. That doesn't mean they are or are not going to develop something, but are they predisposed? So certain life factors or dietary choices that they make may have a bigger influence on the outcome. Because I have people, we do blood work here, and I have people like, oh, my mom and my grandma, and like looking back generally, everyone's had this. And then we get their blood work back, it's like, you're negative on all those genetic markers. So it's actually not necessarily a genetic or hereditary influence, but it is adopted lifestyle. Like you've witnessed someone eating a certain way, or even behavior, right? Behavior is learned too. So I think we try to look for a scapegoat sometimes, but take that responsibility, the ownership.
The whole thing where if you're around 5 different people, you're essentially the equivalent of those 5 people. So if you're around your family all the time and they're a certain way, you're probably going to be that way too until you pop out of that, for better or worse, right? So just because you're around them, there's the influence thing there. Speaking of, here you go. QR code. Break out your phone while you're watching this. Okay, this is for Nurture Nest. This is the little baby that she just birthed.
Yeah.
Okay, and that way you can get those 30 sessions, which you really want to have and want to go through.
And it's a year-long access. Yeah. So people I would zip through like 3 or 4 at a go, right? Because that's just how I like to do things. Someone else might do one per week, and that might take them 30 weeks. Other people might kind of do it every other week. That could take them the whole year. So it's self-paced. You could have the option to do one-on-one or do group collab sessions, kind of things like silver and gold. There are different membership levels, but regardless of getting the content, working it through, discussion, creating that hub of people that can walk alongside you during it. I think traditionally we look at conception and even telling others about pregnancy is kind of hush-hush until that 12 weeks, like just in case, or until we get blood work back, or whatever that may be, or it could be cultural too. But the earlier people know what you're going through, the better they can support you.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of that for support, since we got a little bit of time here, let's talk about the after.
Yep.
Okay.
After baby.
After the baby's born, we're here, and if like 30 seconds old.
Not even my kids are that young. Well, truth be told, birth is a big day on mom and baby and dad too, but like physically more mom and baby.
It's physically as tough as doing a marathon.
Yeah. I mean, just carrying the baby. Yeah. I mean, the amount of blood and the work the heart has to do during the course of pregnancy. Mamas, you are incredible. Our bodies are amazing. The sooner we check baby, the easier it is in case there's tension in the neck, like torticollis, latch issues. So we check palate, checking all throughout the cranial bones, head shape, plagiocephaly, brachycephaly, scaphocephaly, taking a look to see if there is any issues with digestion, so constipation, diarrhea. Man, the easier, the earlier, just setting them up for the start. So most of our mamas here at our office will be coming back within the first 2 weeks after giving birth. But if they're feeling pretty good, especially if it's cesarean, they might be a little bit on, the week or 2 weeks because of the incisions, but we just modify how we're adjusting them. But babies, you want to check within the first week, 10 days really, because those babies, if they're being born cesarean, they're being pulled out through truth be told, it's an unnatural opening in the mother's body. And so they have to pull baby, and the amount of force that's used on those little baby spines is significant and can cause tension within not only the muscles, but the fascia and then the spinal cord itself. And so we do this, it's almost like a little massage, like a pumping to help with the flow of the cerebral spinal fluid. So which is the lymphatic system of that central nervous system to make sure that that's good to go. So baby is the best start to developmental. And then for vaginal births, those might be more like a week or so. They're not as urgent because they at least did get squeezed to that beautiful birth canal. But there could still be areas of tension. So we check them, can help with their digestion. Spit up reflux is a big one.
All the stuff that young parents deal with and complain about is like, they're not sleeping, they got this, they get this, they get this. I got an idea.
Yeah, 3 big things I ask parents to look for after the baby's first adjustment. Digestion, so that could be spit up, reflux, colic, could be diarrhea or constipation. Sleep, so if they're not sleeping well, babies are usually going to sleep pretty well after that adjustment. And then latch, if the baby is latching at the breast, the mom may feel that change even after only one session, or at the bottle, it might be hearing clicking or popping because of air sneaking through. So already after one adjustment, they may have noticed changes in any of those areas, or maybe all of those areas. It's amazing.
Yeah, so now we get you set for even having baby a year out. Okay.
If I could just cut in really quickly here. I forgot to mention pregnancy though. So a lot, because we've been conditioned to think back pain, headaches, a lot of times women think, I'll go in when I'm having back pain, or when my feet are swollen, or when I'm having some sort of ache or pain. But you getting adjusted during pregnancy is actually preparing your body for birth. If we can balance the pelvis so everything is nice and open, relaxed, when your contractions kick in and your baby is ready to come out and things are good to go, that baby can come out that much more easily. Think about if you're laying in bed and your partner, your husband, sits on the sheets and you try to turn over, if there's tension in the sheets, you can't do it as freely. So by releasing that tension with muscles or ligaments of that fascia, if everything's loosey-goosey in there, baby can turn into the optimal position for birth. So it's easier on you, it's easier on baby, less need for interventions, which is great. Yeah. And then that leads to postpartum as well, because more interventions that a mom needs during birth, it actually leads to higher rates of postpartum depression or even just the baby blues. So the easier the birth is on mom, the better her postpartum recovery is too.
Right. Yeah, and I've trained quite a few moms out there. Okay, one of mine, she went in, 5 minutes, birth done. Everybody's like, "What'd you do?" She's like, "I worked out today." Okay, but to her point, your hips, they're all over the place because they're softer, they're growing, they're getting ready for the birth canal to open up. So trainers, be careful if you're training pregnant moms out there, okay? Because you've got a lot of hip instability, spine instability stuff to work on. So you still want to load them, still want to do stuff, still want them pushing because they're going to be pushing and getting them ready for that. But you got to be careful with some of the stuff you do because man, that stuff is moving around. Next thing you know, my head is really hurting me. Well, because you probably did something you weren't supposed to do. Yep. Don't do that.
Yep. Stability.
Yep. Tell everybody where you're at here in Dallas. Or actually, you're in Frisco.
Frisco, Texas, right at 121 and Legacy. So we are, if you look out this window, you see 121. And then the tollway is just the next street over. So we are in a pretty good cross section of those two major roads.
Very, very easy to get to. I got one more thing to show you here.
That's our card.
There you go. There's the card. Hit that little QR code right there so you can get everything. Nurture Nest, check out that program. It's going to be huge.
Excited.
Huge for you, for your baby, for your family. So it's nice and it's easier. It's going to be easier, smoother.
Preparation.
Preparation is huge for that. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
For everybody out there, come back for the next show. I'm Clint Fuquay, the health engineer. This is the Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show. See you next time.